else don't I know?
Tell me the truth. It's time they know the truth about us.
There's a soundtrack to your destruction. And while all the time you getting AIDS, you listening to the soundtrack. And all the time you getting shot, the soundtrack is playing. And you never realize, you never put those two things together. Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. They don't know their enemies. And so they sit at the feet of their enemy and eat. They don't know the enemy feeds them poison and all kinds of things that's going to rupture them on the inside and destroy them years later. Time release poison.
Berean Scholar. Berean Scholar. Berean Scholar.
Waking up the people of the Most High. Got the knowledge to destroy the lies. DNA history, open eyes. Walk into the darkness and turn on the lights. Wake up, 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 wake up.
So I'm going to tell you what's going on in America right now, but most of y'all are not going to like this. We are literally in a let my people go moment. Moses versus Pharaoh. I'm talking about plagues and all. Because after 400 years of oppression and marginalization, the black community rose up in 2020 to demand justice from Pharaoh. It came with a plague called COVID that left over 1 million people dead. Still, we did not listen. Instead, we hardened our hearts. So more plagues have followed. The second plague was the big lie, the loss of truth. The third plague was January 6th, the loss of the rule of law. The fourth plague, the plague of tariffs, the loss of economic stability. And the fifth plague, the plague of ICE raids, the loss of human dignity and decency. Our economy is shrinking, our global standing in the world is diminishing, our rights are being eroded every single day, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse until we listen to the voice of the black community calling for justice. Let my people go. And remember, those people didn't go away empty-handed. The Bible says they plundered the Egyptians, asking for silver and gold. So don't forget, the wealth transfer is part of the deal.
Might hurt some feelings, but guess what? The black people living in the Americas are the chosen people of God.
Shalom. My name is Ronette Brooks, and before I get started, I want to say all praises to the Most High. I am a Gentile. And it is very important because I know that Israelites that are in the truth and know who they are going to be hearing my voice. This is not about me, but I do want you to know enough about me that you can know a small piece of my heart. I have known who so-called African Americans are in the United States since 2019. The Most High allowed me to know that they were the tribe of Judah. I've learned since then that it might be some Benjamites in there and some Levites, but all I want to say is I am here with a humble heart, and I am infinitely in awe because I know that I'm speaking to the light of the world.
All right, I'm going to stop her right there. How does her and people like her know that we are the children of Israel, but you don't know that? How does she know we are the light of the world, but you don't know that? How does she know that if you're out here condemning people to hell, you're going to end up right in that same pit with them, but you don't know that? I want y'all to think of it.
Will, I got to admit, he got a point.
Hey, Daryl, just wanted to leave my testimony for you as a Gentile, believer in Yeshua HaMashiach, that I came to the understanding that the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade and probably some indigenous African Americans here that were here beforehand, I think might be some of the lost tribes of Israel who were here when Columbus got here, that understanding that you guys are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible that people around the world understand as descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My testimony is about 3 years ago in December, I was reading the book of Revelation. As you know, it's the only book in the Bible that promises a blessing to those who who read it, and it turned out to be true for me. I was in chapter 4 and verse 3, and he that sat on the throne was to look like a jasper and sardine stone, and there was a rainbow around the throne in the sight like unto an emerald. When I saw jasper and sardine stone, I looked those stones up, and the color of them was basically like a black man's skin. And then I turned back thinking of what Revelation 13 and 14, 1, 13 and 14 say. His head and hair were like wool. Of course, we know what African Americans' hair is like. It's like wool. White as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet were like unto fine brass, as if it had been burned in a furnace. And so obviously we know what color that is. So that's when I realized that Jesus Christ was a black man. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together about his descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who the entire Old Testament and the New Testament, and Jesus speaks about it in Luke 21:24, that there's going to be a time period where the Gentiles take over, and at the end times, the Hebrew Israelites are going to wake up. They're going to come to themselves. They're going to remember who they are, and they're going to start coming back to Yah and His commands. And when they do, and Jesus's return happens, so it was a big. So I accepted that Jesus was black based on the Bible itself. And a little more about my story. I went to a fair, and recently after discovering this, and there was some IUIC gentlemen there in the purple and gold, and I almost had an opportunity to go up to him and say, I believe Jesus is black too. I didn't get the chance to speak to them, but I got home and I just looked up on YouTube, gold and purple, black Hebrews, and found somebody. I got his number. I called him, and because I wanted to fellowship with a Hebrew Israelite, and that was when I learned about the camp doctrine of white people can't be saved. It didn't deter me at all. In fact, later on, listening to some Hebrew Israelite teachers, that Jesus himself said that many will be offended when they come to the realization their identity has been stolen from them. So I don't blame them at all. I think the teaching is wrong that Gentiles can't be saved, but I also think the teaching is wrong that it doesn't matter who the Hebrew Israelites are. It doesn't matter what color Jesus Christ's skin is, because it also says that in those later days, and in that day and at that time, that people are going to see the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and know who they are.
Well, let's talk about some historical records, with things that we know historically and things that we know by Scripture. So at the time of the Messiah, we were in the southern kingdom, Israelites. We saw Israelites of the southern kingdom. So that was the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, and some Levites. The northern kingdom fell about 700 years before that. And the Israelites were living in the land until Rome destroyed Jerusalem about 70 years after the Messiah's resurrection. This did just not see that was just not the destruction of a city. It was the mass displacement of all the people, of all God's chosen people. And these people fled to neighboring regions. Some of them were taken into captivity, and a lot of them did settle in West Africa and maintain some identity. What do I mean by that? They maintained oral traditions. They maintained language. They maintained tribal memory, and were in West Africa. So this is not conjecture or my opinion. This is, this is stuff that's backed up by ancient records and linguistic traditions and places in Africa where you can see Hebrew language that had an impact, the cultural practices, but most importantly, prophecy. So I want to talk about the covenant that the Most High made with His chosen people. So first of all, we see the Most High change Jacob's name to Israel. Jacob has 12 sons. These sons have some situations. They sell one of their, they sell Joseph, and Joseph goes into Egypt, and the people are there. And, a little side note, Joseph was passed as an Israelite. Passed as an Egyptian. I'm sure he was bald-headed and shaved, clean-shaven, and he looked like an Egyptian. Egyptian, as in people that are from Africa. So Joseph looked so much like an Egyptian that his brothers did not recognize him. And a lot of people say, oh, it had been a long time. No, he looked like an Egyptian because he was of the same skin color as Egyptians. Just wanted to hit that little side note. So anyway, we've come out of Egypt now, and we're in Deuteronomy, and he's told us that he has many nations, but he's got his chosen people that are the apple of his eye, and they are his inheritance, and they are going to have the covenant. And the covenant is got a long list of blessings for obedience and a long list of curses that will happen for disobedience. And I think that everybody that grew up with a Bible in their hand, in their home, knows about the curses and the blessings. And, this is a borrowed book for me. I'm not here to read the word to a lot of Israelites, but I do want to use a very key phrase that deals with identity. So at somewhere kind of in the middle of the curses, we come up on an identity piece. I'm going to read it to you, then I'm going to go up a little bit. Isaiah 28, verse 46 says, and they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever. So what is this they? He's actually talking about the curses. The curses are going to be a sign on the heads of the seed of these people forever. So let me just go up a little bit. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed, because you hearkened not unto the voice of the Most High to guard his commandments and his statutes and which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever. So we're talking about curses. They're going to be cyclical. They're not going to be a one-time historical event. And it's going to be something that happens, and that's how we're going to know who the Most High's chosen are. I want to skip ahead to still in 28, and we're going to look at 68. And the Most High shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spoke unto you, you shall see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. I have seen reels of Black people saying that Black people are not the chosen because it says nobody's going to buy them. So that is a mistake in understanding. That's a lack of understanding about the Hebrew language. So we're told very clearly in the King James Version, and I think also, and then in this Sefer, we're told very clearly that you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. We're talking about slaves. And then no man shall buy you. So what does that mean? That means there's not going to be a redeemer. That Hebrew language there, the purchaser, is somebody that would buy you to free you from your oppression. There will be no redeemer. And so when we think about the people that have given their lives to try and redeem you, Harriet Tubman, Marcus Garvey, Abraham Lincoln, we are in a total falsehood about Abraham Lincoln and who he was, if you go by the education from school. Malcolm X didn't get it done, gave his life. And then of course, Martin Luther King Jr., we know how that ended. And so what's going on is, even after those lives and these people have tried to purchase you, they've tried to be the redeemer, we still have, despite progress, despite reform, we still have a condition that is described in the word as the cyclical curses.
How does her and people like her know that we are the children of Israel, but you don't know that?
Please wake up.
What do you think about this topic? Remember to be a Berean Scholar, as it is written in the book of Acts 17 verses 11 to 12. Now the Bereans were more noble-minded than the Thessalonians, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if these teachings were true. It's time to deepen your understanding and see your reflection within the sacred pages. Please click subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the Berean Scholar channel.